me.
Yeah. So if you've got a campaign, it's been running for a month, it's on search, and maybe you're looking at it as an audit or something, and the conversion data is incomplete. So you're not really looking at the conversion data. Then you look at the search terms, but even before you get to the search terms, you're going to see the click-through rate on the campaign page. If you see what's a number that kind of makes you think like, where do you get worried? Like
1%.
if you see,
I mean, like,
so I used to be at 1%, but like these days with responsive ads, maybe it's just I see good campaigns all the time because I'm looking at my campaigns, but 1% is kind of more. That used to be my number. I'm thinking more like 3% is my number now. So like,
okay.
if I see below 1%, I'm like, yeah, obviously something's totally wrong, or we're doing a super low bid strategy.
Okay.
If I see 1 to 3%, I think there's probably a ton of room for improvement here. If I see 5 to 7%, I'm like, they might be rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
If I see 12%, I'm thinking it's either brand keywords driving it up, or I'm going to go F myself because things are already in good shape. Those are my numbers, and those are my descriptions. Yeah.
It's like I could either work on this or go do something else with my time. Okay. So I'm glad you said that, because people want to know what a good click-through rate is. And I definitely think that there's a scale. And what people don't realize is, they think I need to keep improving my click-through rate. There is absolutely a very low click-through rate that is in the red. And also, just like you said, a very low or a very high click-through rate could also be in the red. So it's a scaled system. It's like red to yellow to green to yellow to red. And you say, well, okay, how could a high click-through rate be a bad thing? Because you always you could get better, expected click-through rates, you could get better quality score, more people are seeing your ad and clicking on it. Isn't that indication of healthy ads? The truth is, I could artificially boost my click-through rate. The easy way is to throw brand keywords in, right? But that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that's easy. What I'm talking about is when you stop qualifying what your ads are actually trying to sell, and you start pitching the click as how people should interact. So in other words, if someone's looking for a plumber, just saying, we're available, we'll be there in 20 minutes, and we cost, it'll cost $50,
And we call us 24/7 emergency.
Yeah, you can call
plumber,
us 24.
You may not even be open all the time.
Yeah, these incentives will push the click-through rate up, but in the end, you're damaging your account because you will get poor conversion rates. You'll have disappointed people.
Wow.
And these kind of things will push the CTR over the edge. And that's actually a bad thing. So I'm more comfortable with a, let's say, 5 to 7% click-through rate.
On search campaigns. And it's hard because the industry is dependent. It's also dependent on your bidding strategy. And if you have to come in there with a super low bid to compete, and then you're running nationally, sometimes you're going to be well under 5 to 7. And things could still be great.
Yeah.
Also, if Chris and I have complete conversion data, we're prioritizing that. But yeah, I would agree with you. Generally, I'm going to maybe open it a little to 3 to 7 instead of 5 to 7 is kind of like your area of green. Below 1 is probably red. And again, it's not an all the time thing, but this is an indication thing. We're going to look at something. Below 1 red, 1 to 3 yellow, probably could be improved. 3 to 7, always things could be improved, but probably in decent shape. 7 to 12 to 25. What's going on? Is it brand keywords coming through either as keywords or as search terms? Is it ad copy that's maybe not going to be delivering what people actually experience? Or is it just an industry that has a very motivated customer base? I can't give the industry, but I'm working with a new client this week in a new industry to me. And nothing special. We're just running kind of normal keywords. They've been running normal keywords. We're making things better. Looking at it now, Chris, last 30 days, and this is all search, 12% click-through rate. Again, absolute top position here might be around the 70% range. So it's not like they're bidding crazy high. Dude, Dude, man, bro, 12%. Because it's
Yeah.
got a very motivated search user base
If
that doesn't care about organic versus ads, doesn't care about number one versus number two. They're kind of looking at all people for getting quotes and options. And when they find someone that gives them what they want, they're very motivated to go work with that company. High click-through rate.
Yeah. I think that you're right. I should probably back off that having a 12, 15% click-through rate is a bad thing, because there are a lot of instances when that would be a regular occurrence for someone to have a very high CTR. There could be a lot of industries that people are going to be very interested if they find that niche. If you provide a niche and you fill a niche for something that is not necessarily the most common thing that people look for, but when they do search that way and they see your ad, they think, oh, that's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah, that's exactly it. And what that tells you is that you've dialed your keywords in right, and therefore you're going to have a high CTR. So it's very much a healthy thing. But Jason, it's not something by accident. It's not going to happen by accident. It has to be engineered. It has to be optimized and worked towards.
And there's a lot of things that go into click-through rate that maybe are outside our realm of control or even understanding. So number one, ad copy. Like sometimes really, really good ad copy could connect with the customer base that even as a business owner, you want to understand why, at least initially. And then there's also something with brand where if someone has done advertising in a market for 25 years on TV and they're running heavy remarketing and display ads, they're probably going to get a boost on their search campaigns. And then competition also plays a role. Like if you're just in a town with, say not a lot of moving companies and there's only usually 2 ads at the top, that mover's probably going to have a higher click-through rate on average than a mover in a very competitive market where there's always 4 ads. So it's very dependent on the situation.
And I mean, just to give an example of industry, if you have an ad for puppies that you're selling versus life insurance, the nature and the urgency of one industry, one type of service, one type of product is going to be so much more desirable because of the instant gratification that they're going to get. People are not going to be quick to say, oh, look at this life insurance ad and click on it. Whereas if you have brand new little, Cocker Spaniel puppies that people, are looking for, and you have an ad for that, cute puppies available now, only two left, that you're selling, then obviously that's going to be a very high click-through rate. It has to do with the value and the time frame, and what they're going to get out of it. So there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, and also just like even in the moving company specifically industry, you've got like local movers where someone does a search and yes, they're going to get quotes a lot of the time from multiple movers. So the average person who clicks on 3 ads at the top is going to be a certain number. Like maybe it's 30% of people, maybe it's 10% of people, but a certain number of them will click on multiple ads and also multiple organic listings to get multiple quotes. But that number rises higher when you're talking about long distance state to state moving quotes, where all the advertisers are talking about like get a free quote. And it's just it's a bigger move. It's a bigger deal. So they're at a much higher rate are going to be getting multiple quotes. At a much higher rate, they're going to be clicking on multiple ads and getting quotes from multiple people and multiple organic listings. You're probably going to see a higher click-through rate in that portion of the moving industry than the day-to-day move. So
that's true.
In terms of answering what is a good click-through rate, I think we gave our ranges.
Yeah.
But they're just ranges, and we just have to qualify everything with click-through rate is advertiser specific, industry specific, location specific, and then like your strategy specific. Like, are you going for a small budget in a huge market and you're trying to show up really low? Like, it's very specific to you as an advertiser, but we did give our ranges.